Okay, guys. So this example, similar to example number one, it's another conjugate case type of problem. Okay, but now with this particular one, it's a little tricky. So it goes a little more involved, and it's not quite as clear. So I wanted to do another example of here. So we could work with either side. Okay, but typically the right side is going to be a little easier, and so that's what we're going to do here. I'm going to multiply by the conjugate, one plus cosine of a, one plus cosine of a. Right. So when I multiply here, I'm going to end up with 1 minus cosine squared of a. And on the numerator, notice I've got 1 plus cosine of a times 1 plus cosine of a. So instead of multiplying that out, I'm just going to write this as 1 plus cosine of a squared. Okay. Now, the denominator, so remember we talked about we want to multiply those together because more often than not, when we multiply by conjugates, it's going to give us that Pythagorean identity. So I'm saying 1 plus cosine of a squared, and this is just going to be sine squared. Now, keep in mind what we're trying to get. We're trying to get cosecant, and we're trying to get cotangent. Now, right now, realistically, we want to look at, like if we look at our numerator, we have 1 plus cosine of a and sec sine squared. So we've talked a lot about splitting fractions. So I know 1 over sine is cosecant, and cosine over sine is cotangent. But how do I do that if it's squared? Okay, well, we have an algebraic property where if both of these terms are squared, or like when I square a fraction, we square both the numerator and the denominator individually. So this I can simply just rewrite as 1 plus cosine of a over sine of a squared. Right? These are equivalent expressions, right? So I can just rewrite it as the quantity squared instead of the individual component squared, right? And so if you look, we're getting closer to what we have here. Because notice both of these were the quantity squared. And so we wrote that in parentheses. So now I'm going to split my fraction to say 1 over sine of a plus cosine of a over sine of a squared. And then change that over to cosecant of a plus cotangent of a squared, which is what we were trying to get.